this session is about collaboration in Google Docs. Now, first off, in Newton County, we are a Microsoft district, which basically means that we run our email through Office 365 and we have access to all of Microsoft tools. But because we are so awesome, you also have a lot of the options in Google, the Google for Education apps, which is why you have Google Docs, you have slides, you have Google Forms, you have some of those pieces of Google. Now, if you are new with us, we do not offer Google Classroom because we are Canvas. We are a Canvas district. So just want to make sure that you recognize we are a Microsoft district, but you do have some of the Google apps for education available. So a couple of my sessions are going to be centered around Google, just so that you see those permissions. So with that, a lot of these permissions really run parallel in Microsoft as well, maybe just a smidgen different. So today, collaborations and how that looks. So in Google, in Microsoft, but today we're going to talk about Google, you can have collaborative efforts in one document. So that basically means that at the same time, you can have more than one person completing some of the pieces of the document. Okay, this is a great feature with lesson plans as a teacher. This is also a great feature if you have maybe small groups of students that you want to divide up a task. It's also great if you want to share students' work in real time, which is what we are going to model today for you. Because we have a virtual setting as the beginning of our school year, this is going to be a great way that you could use a collaborative document and see what your students are saying or thinking in real time. If you like what we see today, join me tomorrow because we're going to do some collaboration in Google Slides. Okay, so with this document right here, we're going to, let me go ahead and say this. I'm going to get back to questions. We have a fairly large group in this session. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share this nugget of greatness for you. And then afterwards, I'm going to jump over to the chat, and anyone that has questions, I'll try to pick those up at the end so that I can at least keep the content down to 15 minutes and then jump back into questions after that. So I'll jump back to any questions in a few minutes. So again, with any type of document, as I said yesterday in my session, it's super important to know your permissions. You need to know what you want to do with that document. So with this document, we want to collaborate. I want someone to collaborate with me. And if I am a teacher and we're talking about writing paragraphs, and we've maybe discussed all 4 different options for paragraphs, and I wanted the students to kind of come in and tell me, maybe I just have a small group that I'm working with of 4 students or 5 students, I could have the students complete this document in real time. So how do they access this document? First off, goes back to the power of permissions. So when I click on the share button, this allows me to see what I said before is the permission. So I'm not going to go through that. But if I wanted to drop a link directly into my Canvas course for students to access, I could simply copy this link right here, but I need to make sure that my permissions are exactly what I want. So the first thing is who's going to access it, and as we say in our permissions session, people at Newton County Schools, that's where it's going to default. So I'm going to leave it there, and my other option is going to be viewer, commenter, or editor. So if I want my students to edit this document, I would need to be sure that I sent an editing link. If I only wanted them to view this, I would need to be sure that I sent them a viewer's link, okay? That's what we get into with the power of permissions. But for this document, for this session, they would need to be able to edit this document. So I would want to copy this editing link and paste this wherever I want. So earlier, I noticed that Tiffany Hodges, a teacher, was in this session, and I sent her that editing link in her email. And she opened the email and clicked on the link, and now you can see that Tiffany has accessed this document. She is already in this document, okay? And I can also see that she's here because right here is where she has her cursor on this document, okay? So if I was to ask a question, if she was in my class, and if I said, what is the focus of narrative writing? And if she was to answer that right here, I could see her typing. So Tiffany, what's the focus of narrative writing? Just in a couple of quick words. And we're going to watch as this document is going to fill up. Okay, so you can see that Tiffany is typing telling a story. So now you can see when you're using a collaborative document, you can actually start dialogue. Okay, Tiffany, so you understand that telling a story is a narrative paragraph. Okay, so then you could ask for more information. So what are some good, important pieces of that story would we want to look for? You know, I could continue to second and third questions to her, or I could ask other students, or I could call on someone, that kind of thing, or say, raise your hand if you would like to answer this, and then have my students raise their hand in a virtual setting and then respond right here. Okay, so I can see that right in this document, she has gone ahead and answered this question. Okay, if I was to say, okay, Tiffany, what is a key element of a descriptive paragraph? Can you tell me that? You're going to watch in real time. This is happening right now because thank you, Tiffany, for being on the spot, because she got this document just a minute ago and she had no idea that I was going to ask her to do this. So thank you for being willing to do this. But you see, immediately her cursor jumped over into the descriptive paragraph. And as the teacher, I can hover over that pink line and I can see that that's where her cursor is. And if I said, what's a focus for a descriptive paragraph? If she answers that, I'm going to see her typing in real time. So this is a great feature that you can use to keep students engaged as you're teaching virtually. It's also a great way for students to work collaboratively if they are maybe working on some type of project, okay? So lots of different options here. So I could also put this out as, all right, guys, we have discussed these 4 types of paragraphs, and now you get to choose whichever type you like and construct a paragraph. So open the document and write your name in the square next to the choice that you would like to choose. So do you want to write a descriptive, a narrative, expository, or persuasive? And then you could answer that question. So you can see right here answers to questions that you may have, and even go ahead and set the stage for the activity that is to come. Okay, so again, the shared document is wonderful. And I could also come in and click on this information that she says, and I could add a comment right here. Okay, so I'm going to comment on this, telling a story of who? Again, just anything that I'd like to say. And then if I click comment, then she can kind of see that right there, now there is a comment, and she could come back and respond to this question. All right, so a shared document is wonderful. I mean, this is a great opportunity for you to see students working or having some interaction in real time. Now, if you've never worked within a shared document and you've never collaborated or had students collaborate, then I would always suggest to start small. Set yourself up for success rather than feeling overwhelmed. But you can see how really quickly students can come in and make some great changes right here in real time. So the difference, one thing that I notice, and I'm going to be real, I love Microsoft. I love all things Microsoft, and I love all things Google. I do find for me, oftentimes, if I do a collaborative document in Word online, which would be Microsoft's option, is it sometimes lags a little behind. And I'll show you how in Google, a lot of times it doesn't. So I'm gonna put her on the spot. So Tiffany, can you right now write your name in the persuasive box for me? And I want you to see how quickly, now she's hearing this just as you are. And you see there is no lag time. So a lot of people prefer in a real-time collaborative document to use Google because at times people have said that sometimes Microsoft, a document may lag behind. So, and we just showed you how quickly that works. Okay, so let's sum this up. You know your space, you know how you could use this. You could use this with your students, but you could also take your template, your maybe basically like your lesson plan template, and if your template was a collaborative effort to complete your lesson plans, you can see how this is a great way for each person to come into this document and work on it in real time, okay? I could also come right under Tiffany's name and I could write my name and you can kind of see that. So I'm not, if she was to write her name and I wrote my name at the same time, they both would come into this document at the same time. So one person is not overpowering the other. Both of us can really and truly work in this document at the same time, okay? So I always like to say this, when you work with collaborative documents and you work with documents that can either be interactive or just viewing rights, you need to know those rights and you need to know how it works so that it can best benefit you. This is also a great way if you have some type of virtual activity and parents are signing up for 5 minutes in the Zoom session to help you, maybe with their family, however you want to. So you could send this out and people could sign up for times. If it wasn't like an information sensitive document, if it's just something for fun, if you're going to have some activity when you go back to school and you wanted different students to bring different things. Again, if this was not something that was sensitive as far as names and information, you could see how sending a shared document even to parents could be beneficial. Okay, so this is a great tool for you. And again, these sessions are designed just to be super quick and super informative to give you one small little nugget of information. Now, are there a ton of other features about a Google Doc? Absolutely. But I just wanted you to see in real time what it looks like when someone is collaborating. For those of you that work in a team and you guys work later at night on your lesson plans and everyone's logged into their computer, you can see how this could also be great. This could be a great tool for you to see each other adding content and populating that content in real time. And then it also can give you the opportunity to add a comment. I don't know exactly what you mean with this. And then get some clarification in real time. Okay, so very good. I hope that this was informative. I hope that this gave you some great tips and tricks on using a collaborative document. I hope that you can see how this could work for you, how it can work in your space as a collaboration tool for adults and also with your students, okay? My biggest word of advice here is just be sure that you start in a manageable way. Again, giving rights to everyone in your class may or may not be the best option for you to start with. You may want to start small and then move forward as you see exactly how it works and how you can build that trust with your students. Obviously, setting norms on collaborative documents as well. All right, so easy information, good stuff, and lots of ways that you can get information from students in real time. I'm so glad that you joined me today.